It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It never is. It is a Wisdom Wednesday presented, of course, by DraftKings, which is very timely because the wisdom today comes from Matt Kalish, who is one of the founders and the president of DraftKings North America, dropping some wisdom on something a couple of you have asked me about, and one of my buddies asked me about. It's ReignMakers. We'll get to that in a little bit. It's Wednesday, which means it's only 2 days away from a Spread the Word winner, somebody that just rates and reviews any of the shows, including this one, on your podcast app, takes a quick screenshot, and then emails it to me, ross@rosstucker.com. And then you get to win a signed press pass or football card or picture that I send directly to you. All you have to do is give us a review, screenshot it. It's that quick. ross@rosstucker.com. Bunch of awesome sponsors this week. Masterworks, Symbol, which I love, AG Athletic Greens, Warby Parker glasses. Really cool. We'll get to that a little bit later. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL is the way to either watch the show live, not live, but when we post it, or the highlight clips of this show and others. You can also see them a lot of times on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at Ross Tucker Pod. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL if you want to see the beer I'm drinking and the food I'm eating in the press boxes. Patron of the day, Matthew McClendon. We're running low. We're running low on new patrons. It's starting to slow down a little bit, but it's the place to see the even money bets, the Friday picks, the press box food grades, the power rankings. It's also Big Show time.
The Big Show.
As promised, really excited to be joined by Matt Kalish, who's not only one of the co-founders, but he's the president of DraftKings North America. And I was about to say more importantly, probably not more importantly, but also a fellow Ivy League athlete, Matt. I know we talked about this before. I forget. You ran at Columbia, right?
Yeah, I ran track. I was distance, so I did cross country as well.
So, okay, that tells me two things. Number one, you have one heck of a work ethic and are persistent, and you're tough as nails, man. Because that, like, at any point, did you think that was really fun? Did you enjoy that, Matt? Because that is tough, man, running.
Well, I enjoyed being good at it, but like, I always wished I was good at a different sport, but you get dealt the cards you're dealt. So I was like good at distance running, so I stuck with it, and like the winning and success was more important to me than like what exactly. But if I could have been a great basketball player or something, I would have definitely done that.
You know what's funny? My best friend in central Pennsylvania where I live, same thing. He was like two-time state champ cross country in Pennsylvania, went to college for it, and he hates running. He just liked winning. Like, he just liked beating the other kids, and it was just that was his motivating factor.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of benefits. Like, I would have never gotten into Columbia without running. I mean, I was okay. Academics was top, 20% in my high school, but I wasn't like valedictorian or anything. And certainly without the running, I would not have gotten in. So, like, very nice investment, I guess. But yeah, I wished I was good at basketball. That was the sport I always like really wanted to be. I don't know, anything with a ball involved. I feel like I struggled.
Well, I got into Princeton solely on academics. Being a good football player had nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, the valedictorian of my high school, I probably told the story before, but the valedictorian of my high school had 15 to 50 SATs and did not get in my year.
Yeah.
But I did. So it's wild. Thank you for football. And I know what something you are good at, Matt, and that's obviously everything you guys have done over at DraftKings. And I've been hearing about this for the last couple months, but I wanted to bring you on to learn more about it. And it's what you guys have going on with ReignMakers football. I've seen NFL players like tweeting about it. I've had some of my buddies asking me about it. So more than anything, I wanted to make sure that not only me, but my listeners had an idea of exactly what you guys are doing with ReignMakers football.
Yeah, we're a few months in now. We launched ReignMakers back in, at least as far as the main game, it was back in August. And so that was the first time people could build fantasy lineups in ReignMakers. And the way it works is similar to if you've played like EA Sports Ultimate Team, where you build and like accrue a roster of players, and then you can use them in the game. And over time, you can, through playing, like win more rewards. You can earn more players to improve your team. And this is kind of the fantasy equivalent of that. So people are buying packs of cards that have real life football players. So in any given pack, you could pull, maybe you're getting like Josh Allen and top tier. Maybe you're like not, it's a chance, right? Just like opening a pack of sports cards. And through the act of, opening cards, but also shopping on the marketplace to pick up like specific athletes you want, you can build a team and then use that to compete for prizes all season long. In fantasy, we're doing over $1 million per week. No fee or anything, just owning the cards is all you need.
Oh, that's amazing. Over $1 million a week and no fees. So is it fair to say, Matt, you're basically combining NFTs and fantasy football?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the underlying like card collection that you have is all digital NFTs. So you can collect them, you own them forever. It's like in your account, year after year, there'll be utility in ways that you can play with your collection. And this is really just the beginning. First sport we launched was football, but UFC very recently, we just started announcing our plans for 2023 for UFC 281 coming up this weekend. Even we're doing some ReignMakers football UFC. So it's sort of like a franchise of game that we're creating this year. And I think it's going to be really exciting over a multi-year period as we build and invest and grow the game. I think, hopefully hundreds of thousands of people will be enjoying the game before you know it. And it'll be really like a staple of the DraftKings experience, like that kind of next new product.
So what I think's cool about it, Matt, is I think a lot of people, the fact that you have the cards that you get sort of forever, that is what people like. Like that's what people like about NFTs, right? They're getting something unique or something special that they can have forever. But that's also what people like about like dynasty fantasy. I mean, I know it plays out each week more like from a DFS perspective, but that's what people like. They like to have like the long-term hold of certain cards or certain NFTs, certain players. So you're almost combining like you can play any week, right? So even though I haven't done it yet or other people haven't done it yet, they could play here in week 10, but then also those cards you have, you can use, like you said, next year. So it's almost like both DFS now, but dynasty in the sense that you have those cards for future years, right?
Yeah, we tried to set it up to kind of balance all these different worlds. So the majority of the prizing DraftKings put up is sort of like in the current season collection. That's where, the competitions happen for the bulk of the prizing, but there's still a chunk that goes towards, historical cards from past years. So you'll always be able to compete for free, earn, cards from the current season's collection, earn cash prizes, experiences, things like that. And we're also setting up a way where you can play like in fee-based contests with other players. So similar to DFS, where we have these large field contests where everybody throw in whatever $3 or $20, and you're competing for six-figure or $1 million prizes. Like that capability, I think in ReignMakers will be something to come next season in football, where people will compete with their prior collections as well for like even more skin in the game.
So it's funny, Matt, when I was in 6th grade, I actually had like a baseball card shop, like a card shop. My buddy and I did, and it was amazing. Like we actually made pretty decent money off of it till they shut us down because it wasn't legal to be 12 years old. But we had all the kids from the neighborhood coming. And I will say this, I don't care how old you are, opening up a pack of cards is cool. Like no matter what, like opening something up and not knowing what you're going to get. We used to actually make the kids open it up in the store because if they got something good, we wanted to buy it back from them. So if they got like a good card, we'd be like, hey, we'll give you 3 more packs if you give me that Bo Jackson rookie card or whatever they just got. And they would always do it. They would always do it because they always wanted the thrill of opening up more packs and seeing what else is there. So even that's what's cool, I think, about, I know a lot of people are getting back into cards and NFTs, is like the feeling of the unknown and you hitting a big one, or maybe you do get a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen in the first pack. That will never go away.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the parts. I mean, personally, I really love that stuff. I have behind me all these boxes of, whatever sports, non-sports cards. Just the hardest part is not like opening the cards. Right. It sits here. I'm like, I think I'm smart because I'm holding the sealed box, whatever. But every day, like, you want to open it, right? You're like, what's in there? There's something really like unique about that experience. During COVID too, there was the like breaks, these breaks that people do. There's apps like Whatnot where you can log in and somebody over the internet like opens cards and then they mail them to you. So during COVID, I got into breaks quite a bit. I met this guy, Chris Costa. He's a local card shop owner. He owns a place called Card Vault. Now he's working with us on ReignMakers because like I was just so in it with this guy. I'm like, what do you have going on? Doing breaks every night, whatever. Oh my God, I like just reclaimed my office. I sent a shit ton of cards to consignment because like all these cards that were like probably $5 to $15 or whatever, just like stacks of them sitting in my office. Yeah, opening packs is special, but the digital piece, I think it's more convenient, because you don't have these big stacks of
right. But also, Matt, like you can make the team exactly the team you want to try to win these contests, right? Like you can say, I'm going to go to the secondary marketplace. I think that so-and-so is undervalued. I think that so-and-so is undervalued. And you can say, I want, Hurts at quarterback, but I want, Dameon Pierce at running back. If you're willing to pay on the secondary market, you can build the team exactly the way you want it built.
Yeah.
Is that
absolutely.
fair?
Yeah. So the game's set up to try to really fit the bill for everyone. We have like a free pack that you get when you start, so you can field a team without spending any money. And then there's 5 tiers, starting at core being like the most accessible. You could build any team you want for like under $50 at core, something in that range, And if you want more though, like, I mean, we have 5 tiers, so you can keep going up, and each rung of the ladder, call it like a 4x escalation. So if it's like $50 to build a good lineup at core, it's probably more like $200 at the next tier of rare. And the benefit of doing that's really like at higher tiers, there's less competition, less like the cards are more scarce, and then also like the prizing is enhanced. So
got it.
You're playing less people, big prizes, and the cards that you're holding forever, like a lot of them are very limited. The top tier of ReignMaker, there's 8 of every athlete for the season. So there'll be like 8 Josh Allen ReignMakers for the entire year.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. All right. So like for this weekend, okay, the contests are similar to DFS, right? Like I would get the cards, I would get the NFTs, and that would be my lineup for the week. And basically it's almost like I'm playing DFS on DraftKings, except it's ReignMakers and it's with the NFT digital cards that I actually bought.
Yeah, the main difference is there's no fee to jump in the contest. So like just owning the cards, if you can field the lineup, you're in. The prizes are the prizes, but you're not paying anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So once you have the NFTs, you can enter these contests every week and you're not paying a fee because you already own the NFT.
Yeah. So it's kind of like if you start with it like season-long football where you pay up front and you get the whole season. But in this case, like all year, very fluid on the marketplace. You could like list things you don't want to hold for sale, pick up new cards. You can expand your team so you can put in more lineups. Like if you want a few chances to win something, you could put in like 3 different lineups with different quarterbacks. And and like mix your teams up with different theories you have about how the week might go. Some people have like hundreds and hundreds of cards, and they're trying to really like, maybe they're playing like 12 different quarterbacks and like handcuffing them to different people and stuff. So it's really whatever you want to do with it. And then there's people who, like, instead of dealing with all that bulk, they're playing at the high tiers. Maybe they play one or two lineups, but it's at the Rainmaker tier or it's at Legendary, and they're just very invested in that one core team that they have, and they're not trading a lot. So you can play it a bunch of different ways.
So the secondary market, is it like this is the price, almost like here's their DFS salary, or is it like a true supply and demand up and down the value market to buy like a Jalen Hurts card or a Mahomes card on the secondary market? Is it a set price, or is it like, does it fluctuate?
It's whatever, because it's your card, so you can choose what you want to list it at. And you can check things like the past sales if you want to get an idea for what a card's worth.
So it's a market. It's not set. It's set by the seller. It's not like it's not set by you guys.
Yeah. Once you own the card, it's yours. You can sell it if you want. You can hold it forever if you want. You can buy more if you want. So it's really like the holder of the card has the power. It's like selling something on eBay. It would be very similar to that.
Got it. Now, I know it's similar to DFS. Are there any new contests coming? Do you guys have anything else coming up anytime soon?
Yeah, the biggest focus right now is more on the sport front. We want to make sure that like we're building a foundation around ReignMakers that's then flexible as we expand. So like starting with football, we have this great relationship with the players. You mentioned like Lamar Jackson or Zeke or Stephon Diggs in our commercials and stuff. We're working directly with the players. The NFTs are licensed by the NFLPA. It has all the real kind of, name, likeness, everything that would entail like a great collectible. And as we apply that to UFC now, we're really kind of building on that same concept, that same tech, and just making it like a version of the game that makes sense in UFC. The biggest difference really being like fighters don't fight every week, like in football, every week. It's more like twice a year or like 3 times a year. So we have to change the game up a bit. We still have like big overall checklist collections, but we're doing like pack specific drops before every event that just have the fighters in that event. So like, even if you don't have a massive collection of every UFC fighter, you can like jump in for UFC 281. So that's something that we're doing. This weekend, we did a bunch of packs that sold out in like 19 minutes. People are opening them, putting in lineups for UFC 281. $100,000 of prizes is up there. So we think that that's a little bit more like sensical for the way UFC works. And like, as we look at other sport opportunities, we're just trying to really like customize it and make sure it makes sense and fits like how the sport works.
Awesome. Probably a dumb question, Matt, but pretty easy to find on the app. Like, how do you get started?
Yeah, it's right up in the hierarchy. Like if you look at the top of the DraftKings site, or if you're in one of the apps, like the fantasy app, it's right up top. You just click ReignMakers and you're like jumped right in. First thing you do is like jump into ReignMakers football and open your free starter pack. It's the best way to get started.
God, I'm looking at it right now. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you'll get, with no money, like you get that initial core 6 athletes. It'll fill a roster. And then from there, like you kind of mix and match, do whatever you want in the marketplace to improve your team.
That people are going to get really into that, man. That's cool. That's a great idea. Really, really appreciate you coming on the show. I've been looking to find out a little bit more about this. Thank you so much. Again, that's Matt Kalish, co-founder and president of DraftKings North America, and a recruited Ivy League athlete who got in based in part on sports like me. Thanks, man. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, listen, I think my GPA was like 2.7, so I often don't mention college, but like always being able to fall back on the like, hey, it was a hard college, so like it makes sense why.
I think I had like a 3.4, which somehow qualified me for like academic All-American or whatever, but I never actually got an A. I got a B- and a B in my first semester. Every other grade I got, Matt, was a B+ or A-. I took all classes where you wrote papers, and I just felt like I would meet with the professor. I would hand it in, and like they'd give me a B plus. I'd be like, "All right, nice doing business with you." You know, like I wasn't gonna. I wasn't smart enough or good enough to get like an A or an A plus, but I was thrilled to just keep racking up the B pluses and A minuses.
Yeah, right on. I mean, there's a big difference between A and B. I noticed like the A hurdle is like you're sitting in the class for hours. You're like
Yes.
looking up to the teacher, whatever. You know, it's like, yeah, it's a lot to be pulling A's, but you know,
It's like when I get
being
resumes.
a dad too, like the stuff I got away with, I'm like, now I know how it works. So I'm like, no, you're getting A's. Like you need to do your homework, do this, do that. Yeah, being a dad, I get like why that work is worth it. But in the moment, I was thinking, you know, I want to have my hand in everything. I want to be learning like how to play poker. I want to be a competitive athlete. I want to take like super hard classes. I double majored in computer science and economics. Took like 6 classes every semester.
Oh, okay. So now you're trying to play. You're trying to play. No, double majored 6 classes.
Oh yeah, but
that's
yeah,
impressive.
broad and bad grades was like my MO. So like, yeah, I'm getting B minus, I'm getting C plus, I'm getting B, or whatever grades, you know. But I feel like I just picked up a lot of breadth, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome, Matt. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Ross. Talk to you soon.
Really enjoyed that conversation with Matt Kalish. Obviously, awesome guy. I like when there's a guy like me that are similar in some respect, right? Ivy League athlete that was joking about, you know, getting into school because he was such a good runner, that obviously has the success he had helping to start DraftKings. Can you even imagine? That is awesome. Speaking of can you imagine not getting glasses when you need them? Warby Parker offers everything you need for happier eyes: eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, eye exams, and you can shop with them online or in stores. I needed glasses. I got them from Warby Parker. I wear them really only when I'm calling games, depending on how far away I am from the field of play. Helps me see the numbers on some of the jerseys. Glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. You can try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free. There's no obligation to buy, ships free, and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/Ross. This is awesome. You literally get them sent to your house, and then bang, you can pick out which one you want. It's warbyparker.com/Ross. Awesome, awesome program they got.
Tux Takes.
All right, Ross will start with the Colts naming 30-year-old assistant quarterback coach Parks Frazier as their new play caller.
Got a lot to say about this, Jack. So it's going to be the Tux Take of the day, presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Canadian Pilsner. Share a Labatt with friends or me this football season. Parks Frazier, by the way, almost sounds like a made-up name, number one. Number two, he is the assistant quarterback coach. Now he's the play caller. A few things I think about this. Number one, I don't believe Jeff Saturday really made this decision. I think this is yet another Jim Irsay decision, such as benching Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger, such as firing offensive coordinator Marcus Brady, such as firing Frank Reich, such as obviously hiring Jeff Saturday. I think Jim Irsay is running the show, and he's the owner, so everybody's just letting it go. Because how would Jeff Saturday even know who should be the play caller? He doesn't even know these people. He just got there. So I think my guess is that Jim Irsay likes this Parks Frazier kid, likes that he's young, throw him in there. I got to tell you, between Jeff Saturday being a first-time head coach and Parks Frazier being a first-time play caller, there is the potential for some real comedy with this Colts game against the Raiders on Sunday. I mean, this will be a unique experience for both those guys. You've got both guys doing something they've never done before. There's a pretty good chance they'll make several key mistakes and that it will be a disaster. But it'll at least be entertaining for us, which I'm looking forward to watching how it plays out one way or the other.
Tuck's Takes.
We've got some safety news as the Raiders cut Jonathan Abram, Cardinals lost Budda Baker for a bit, and the Giants' Xavier McKinney suffered a hand injury during the bye week with an ATV accident, so he's out for a while.
So Jonathan Abram's interesting. Obviously, the Raiders tried to trade him. He's a former first-round pick. Tried to trade him, weren't able to get it done. Now they get he's on the market. So I'll be curious to see who scoops him up. Is there a starting job somewhere, or does he go somewhere as a third safety? Budda Baker is arguably the Cardinals' best defensive player. That's a big loss for a team that can't afford any more losses. And the Xavier McKinney thing, this almost reminds me of when all the wide receivers, half the team went before their playoff game, where they go Cabo or somewhere, and they were on the boat, and it got a lot of attention. What a bad vibe. Xavier McKinney's one of their best players on the Giants defense, gets hurt in an ATV accident, surgery on multiple fingers, no telling when he's back. Not a good look for the G-men.
Tuck's Takes.
Other injuries of note include Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs and Jets defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins out 4 to 6 weeks with injury, while Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry and Chargers defensive lineman Austin Johnson are going to the IR.
So Dr. Chow at Pro Football Doc talked about a couple of these yesterday. Romeo Doubs, high ankle sprain, being out for a while. And Cushenberry, the Broncos are taking some hits on the O-line. They're taking a decent amount of hits on the O-line now. And cluster injuries are where you really get concerned, because then you have guys playing that you really didn't expect to play. Austin Johnson, the Chargers, it is crazy how many injuries the Chargers have every single year. It's uncanny. Maybe they need to eat better, Jack. Maybe they need to eat from Freshly. So cool to be able to get these meals. We all know, especially me during the season, how busy we are. Thank goodness Freshly's here to help us begin the new routine better during football season, school, all that. Get started today and you'll get $140 off your first 5 orders. That's over a month of nutritiously portioned meals. That's the key. All without the shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleanup, delivered straight to your door. Very tasty. My wife was super excited when we got them. It's really easy. No dirty dishes. I mean, they're pre-cooked meals. They arrive fresh. You can order today and get $140 off your first 5 orders at freshly.com/Ross. That's freshly.com/Ross for $140 off your first 5 orders. Freshly.com/Ross for $140 off your first 5 orders. Let's get to an email, Jack.
Ever wanted to ask an NFL player a question? Well, here's your chance. It's time to Ask Ross.
The email address is ross@rosstucker.com. I love getting emails from you, love getting feedback, love getting questions, but I also love when you take advantage of a sponsor, because that's really good for us, and you also go to the top of the questions. What do you got, Jack?
So we got from Greg. He says, "Hi, Ross. I'm a youth football coach and have been for 17 years. I always struggle with the fact that I'm trying to get the lesser athletes to stick with the sport because once they leave the middle school program I lead, the high school program, somewhat understandably, plays the best players almost exclusively. We've thus missed out on many late bloomers. I'm now changing my strategy of talking to those players and trying to convince the best players to realize the importance of backups. You once said on Dan Patrick that you thought backups are the most valuable players on a team because they do so much work for such little glory. I love the way you presented it, but I can never remember how you worded it. Wondering if the philosophy you have, or if you were just speaking off the top of your head that time and don't have a recollection of it. Would love a response if you think you could help. Spicy mustard for life.
Love it, Greg. And I don't think I said that they're the most valuable players on the team. I think I said that I have the most respect for them. And those are the guys that I would look to hire for any of the small businesses, RT Media, Go Big Recruiting, myfrontpagestory.com. I think there's certainly value in people that excel and do very well, but that is in part a physical ability thing. People that, especially in college or high school, play all 3 years, or in college all 4 years, and never step inside the white lines, I am incredibly impressed by their mental toughness. And those are the people that I would look to hire for any of my businesses right away. To go every day knowing you're not going to get the reward of being inside the white lines and getting a chance to play in front of the crowd, the whole deal. I couldn't possibly have more respect for the kids that play high school football, college football, and never actually play. Love them. Love all of them. They are tough as nails, maybe even tougher than me, because I don't know that I would have necessarily been able to do it. I do want to talk, before I forget, Greg, about Sling. Because if you're like me, did I say Greg? Did I call you Greg? Oh, that's Greg with the email guy. I'm talking to the email guy now, talking to myself. Here's the deal. I love TV. We all do. But these high prices, endless contracts, it's ridiculous. Sling is the most valuable option when it comes to finding your favorite channels with the best deal for sports, news, entertainment, because they have the best live TV content all in one place at the lowest price. Watch every touchdown live every Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone on Sling. For a limited time, get Sling Blue and add on Sports Extra with NFL Red Zone for half off your first month. Regular price, $46. Now, only $23. You get the best deal on Red Zone, so you can catch all the touchdowns at the lowest price with Sling TV. Visit sling.com/DraftKings to sign up today. Speaking of signing up, love those people that sign up to be, I think we're done here, members of patreon.com/RT Media, like Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, HumanHeadNYC.com, SteakhouseSports.com, Go-Bengals.com, Evergreen Economics, Vision Comics with an X, BackOfficeScheduler.com, MyFrontPageStory.com. Already, we have posted the College Draft Podcast this morning. Fantasy Feast Part 1 will be a little bit later this morning. Fantasy Feast Part 2 tomorrow on Thursday, as always. And, of course, the Even Money Podcast is already up. Greg Cosell tomorrow. I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.